This is your WCIA 3 forecast first, sponsored by Route 66 Solar.
Well, it was a nice primary election day and night out there. It was a little breezy, but the sun was out, it was bright, and it was actually mild with temperatures that soared into the 60s today. The only issue was that strong wind out of the west, gusting at times to 40 miles an hour. And we're cooling down tonight. We're in the mid-40s at this hour. Tomorrow, much colder. We're not even going to make it out of the middle 40s for highs. Got some snow in the forecast as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later as WCIA 3 primary election night coverage begins right now.
You're watching your local news leader. This is a special edition of WCIA 3 News, your local election headquarters.
It is primary election night here in Illinois. The polls closed at 7 o'clock tonight. The votes are being counted. Many important races are being decided. And WCIA 3 has your latest results here tonight.
From the race for the White House to some central Illinois sales tax questions, today's votes will go a long way deciding what happens heading to November's general election. So let's get it started.
We were hoping that an endorsement would come before this time. I think Donald Trump does what he needs to do to get elected.
Could that backing from the former president sway voters in this hotly contested congressional race?
I'd make at least 4 or 5 campaign stops a day because this is important.
You got to remember that it's write-in.
It's a race like few others, which one won't be decided by a simple check of the box. And
if it's someone in your family, you sure want us there right away, right?
it's just one of the tough questions some voters had to grapple with saying yes or no to. We have the answers right here. It's primary night 2024.
And good evening from your local election headquarters. I'm Jennifer Roscoe.
And I'm Brandon Morano. Results have been coming in all night. We have team coverage to break down all the votes and results. Our Capitol Bureau Chief, Cole Hinkey, is live in Murfreesboro. State House reporter Theodora Coulivaris in Gibson City. And WCIA 3's Ariana Williams in Ford County.
We start tonight at the top of the ballot and the race for the White House. No surprises here. President Joe Biden wanting a second term. He easily wins tonight in Illinois, way ahead of his three challengers.
On the Republican side, former President Donald Trump looking to take back the job tonight, and he gets it done with 81% of the vote to Haley's 14%.
One of the higher profile races is for 12th Congressional District, one that runs along the Indiana border, all the way from Charleston south to the bottom of the state. Now, on the Republican side, you had Mike Boss, who's held that seat since 2015, and Darren Bailey, who is running for his fourth different seat in the past 6 years. And Bailey has lost again. Mike Boss is the winner of this race, getting that nomination, 53% to Darren Bailey's 47%. Joining us from the Boss Campaign Live in Murfreesboro is Capitol Bureau Chief Cole Hinkey. Cole, they have to be celebrating there tonight.
That's right, Jennifer. Congressman Boss is now making his rounds around his campaign party here. He's talking with the people who have supported him through this campaign. He actually just got done addressing the crowd and talking to reporters as well. Boss actually declared victory before any call was made in this race, but we talked to him about why he decided that, and he said the numbers just weren't there for Bailey to get the win, and it seems like Bailey agreed. Just shortly ago, he conceded in this race, officially making Boss the winner in this race, and we heard from him today. Here's what he had to say when he told the crowd what he was thinking when he was on stage.
I want to say thank you to everyone for all your support and friendship. God bless you. I thank God for this. And primaries are tough, and I'm really glad this one's over. Thank you.
Now, Boss was saying during that speech that he really hopes that the Republican Party can unify going forward in this race that we saw between him and Bailey, a real split forming, both of them very conservative candidates, but really nitpicking each other on the records, trying to paint the other as, not as serious of a candidate in this race. So Boss obviously coming out on top, but he said he's not going to speak down on his opponent, and he hopes that the Republican Party can move forward in this race. Obviously, Boss does go to the November general ballot ballot now, and he's got an opponent on that, a Democratic opponent on that ballot as well. But this district has gone strongly Republican in the past, and a much larger Republican show out in this race as well. So we'll see exactly what goes on in November, but Bost feels confident he's heading to another term in Congress. Reporting in Murfreesboro, I'm Cole Hankey, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Cole, thank you so much. Now let's talk about the Democrats who will run against Bost in the 12th district. In this primary, we have Preston Nelson over here. We've got 64% of the precincts in. Preston Nelson ran in 2018 against Bost and lost. Right now, Brian Roberts, the Carbondale lawyer, is ahead in this race with 61% of the vote. To the 13th congressional district that runs straight through central Illinois from Indiana all the way down to the St. Louis area. Incumbent Democrat Nikki Budzinski ran unopposed tonight. Republicans, U of I grad Thomas Clatterbuck and former campaign worker Joshua Lloyd battling it out. We've got a little more than half of the precincts in, and right now Lloyd is ahead 58% to Clatterbuck's 42%.
To the State House in the 102nd District. It's a district running from Urbana all the way south to Lawrenceville along the Indiana border. Now, this is quite a story here. Incumbent Adam Niemerg, who holds Darren Bailey's old seat, got kicked off the ballot for not properly notarizing his application. So he's a write-in candidate on the Republican side. He's facing another write-in. The challenge comes from Jim Ackland, acting mayor of Ogden and Chrisman's superintendent. Now, as for that write-in race, there is no numbers right now, and that is because it takes time to count those write-ins, usually anywhere from 1 to 3 days before you get those back. So that's why there are no numbers there. To the 88th House District in 2017, Republican Dan Calkins said if elected, he would only serve 3 two-year terms. He made good on that promise, not running for re-election this year. Looking to take his seat are Regan Deering running against Chuck Erickson. Now, Deering lost her race for the 13th Congressional District in 2022. She's a Mount Zion School Board member now. Chuck Erickson is on the McLean County Board. And with this race, 67% of precincts reporting Regan Deering with a commanding lead with 71% of the vote to Erickson's just 29. No Democrats filed for the primary.
To the 105th district, which hits Livingston County on the Republican side, we've got 62% of precincts in, and the incumbent, Dennis Tipsword Jr., that is, he's also the Woodford County Chief Deputy, and he is way ahead with 76% of the vote so far against Donald Green's 24%. In November, the winner of this race will face Democrat Morgan Phillips.
In the 107th district, that's in our southern area, Effingham County in on the northern part of that sector. Incumbent and farmer Brad Hallbrook facing Marsha Webb, a former paramedic and township trustee. 87% of precincts reporting right now. Brad Hallbrook with a lead of 68% to Marsha Webb's 32%. In the 110th House District, that's south and west of Effingham, all the way down to Centralia. Incumbent and business owner Blaine Willauer facing a primary challenge from State Correctional Officer Matthew Hall. 57% of precincts in. Blaine Willauer with 80% of the vote, a commanding lead here over Matthew Hall to just 20%.
Now on to the state Senate, the 53rd district. Tom Bennett was named to that seat when Jason Barrickman resigned after the 2022 election. Bennett announced his retirement in August. It's a district that starts in Paxton and Gibson City and heads north. It also moves east to west from Indiana to Peoria. There are 4 candidates vying for the nomination. One has declared himself the winner. That would be Chris Balkema right now with 52% of the vote. We only have 60% of precincts in, but he says he's got this one ahead of Jesse Faber, who has 29% of the vote. Joining us live from Gibson City is WCIA 3's Theodora Coulivaris. Theodora, we got to start with, why is this one considered a special election?
Well, Jennifer, because the seat is open because of a resignation, the person who wins it will only serve for 2 years. Now, as you mentioned off the top, Chris Balkema has declared victory in this race. I did talk to him within the past hour. He said he's feeling very good about how the race is going, but he hasn't heard from any of the other candidates yet. Again, his background is mostly in the business world. He worked at Caterpillar for the last 30 years, and he is the Grundy County Board Chair. And he has said he wants to take Grundy County's non-sanctuary status and make that, put that at the state level. He also wants to cut taxes. Jesse Faber, who's in second place right now, he's the Pontiac Township High School agriculture teacher and a farmer in Pontiac. He has the Illinois Farm Bureau Activators endorsement. and his focus throughout the campaign has been on agriculture and supporting small businesses. Again, this race is not over yet, and we will continue to keep you updated as results keep coming in. For now, reporting in Gibson City, I'm Theodora Coulivares, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Theodora, thank you so much. Now, in the 52nd Senate District, Paul Faraci took over after the death of Scott Bennett. He ran unopposed in this primary. It's his first time on the ballot. But come November, that's going to change. Republican Jeff Brownfield is working on gathering support for November.
Michael Day has been the coroner in Macon County for nearly 30 years. In August, he announced his retirement after this term. 4 candidates are looking to succeed him. 3 of them on the Republican side: Jeffrey Kashevska, current deputy coroner; Michael Burkham, a former paramedic and director of Decatur's ambulance service; and Waylon Vansell, a registered nurse. Tiffany Hall is running unopposed as a Democrat. Now all the votes are in, and Michael Burkham is moving on to November. In Champaign County, there will be a new coroner elected. Dwayne Northup resigned in November of last year. Chief Deputy Steve Thuney has been in charge since and will run on the Republican side in November. Now, as for his opponent, Democrats Lori Brower and Sean Williams were on the ballot today. Now, in Champaign County, you can vote at any polling place, so that's why you don't see any precincts reporting right now. But we do have votes, and here are the totals. Lori Brower with 74%, Sean Williams, 26%. Several counties have coroner races this primary election. In Shelby County, Republicans Brad Fagley facing Richard Moon. Fagley is the incumbent here. Moon is a 25-year paramedic, and Fagley takes this one with 64% of the vote. In Effingham County, also on the Republican side, incumbent Kim Rhodes taking on Shumway's Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Brown. This one, all precincts reporting Kim Rhodes takes this race.
In Iroquois County on the Republican ticket, State's Attorney James Devine is retiring. Here are the people who want his job, and this is the one who's going to take it to November. Michael Quinlan, he's the assistant state's attorney. He beat tonight the assistant state's attorney in Kankakee County, Rebecca Sulini. That would be 81% to 19%. In Vermilion County, it's a race for the recorder on the Republican side. Incumbent David Stone isn't running. Instead, you've got Matthew Long, who is ahead in this race. Almost all of the vote totals, the precincts coming in. The supervisor of assessments with Kathy Moulton. She's the deputy recorder. She has 37% of the vote in this race.
To Ford County in the race for circuit clerk on the Republican side, Ford County paralegal Casey Schwartz facing Alicia Weber, who works in the circuit clerk's office. Incumbent Camelin Johnson Anderson is stepping down with 100% of precincts reporting Casey Schwartz takes this race in Ford County. Another circuit clerk race, this time in Christian County, incumbent Julie Mayer retiring. The Republican ballot has Jessica Franks, who serves on the Board of Housing Authority, and Jeffrey Voorhees, the chief deputy clerk. Voorhees, with 97% of precincts reporting, is in the lead with 72% of the vote to Frank's 28%.
No one wants to pay more in taxes, but what if it's to make sure your child's district has what it needs? What county is looking for a yes vote to improve schools?
Plus, your safety could be at risk where money for fire protection and emergency crews is being voted on. WCIA 3's primary election coverage continues after the break.
Live from your local news leader, Jennifer Roscoe, Brandon Morano, Kevin Leahy, and Brett Behrens. This is a special edition of WCIA 3 News, your local election headquarters. This is election night coverage from your local election headquarters.
Welcome back to primary election night. There are several proposition questions across central Illinois tonight. In one of those, Northern Piatt is looking for a tax bump to help pay for emergency personnel to support an ambulance service.
This would affect rural parts of multiple counties, and the votes are still coming in this is a tight one here, 50-50 on this proposition. Now, there's another ask for a tax hike for fire and emergency services, this time in Harristown. Voters there faced with two questions.
The first, should property taxes go up to pay for equipment, personnel, and building maintenance for the fire protection district? And this is a yes, 59% to 41%. The second question voted on, raising taxes to support emergency services. The chief says that's the majority of their calls, and the chief is getting his money. This is a yes vote. Again, there in Harristown, taxes going up 64% to 36%.
In Ford County, they're looking to pass a 1% sales tax to help schools. It would be used exclusively for school facility purposes, school resource officers, and mental health professionals. And the votes are in here. This one did not pass, 56% rather saying no to just 44% saying yes. And standing by live in Ford County is WCIA3's Ariana Williams. Ariana, what are people saying about this tax proposal?
Just as the people were split with the sales tax proposal, so are the results. 56% of Gibson City voters did vote yes to the 1% sales tax increase that would go towards infrastructure updates and the city pool. But the overall vote to add a new 1% tax to Ford County for the schools in the district did not go over as well. As you said, it was voted down with that 55% of voters saying no. This means GCMS, PBL, and Tri-Point school districts will have to come up with other ways to make their changes. In an earlier interview, GCMS Superintendent Jeremy Darnell said what he most wanted was feedback from the public, regardless of the outcome, to know how to better move forward. Live in Ford County, Ariana Williams with WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Ariana, thank you. Also in Ford County is a vote on a non-home rule tax in Gibson City. The referendum includes a 1% increase to the sales tax for 20 years. The tax would fund the city's new swimming pool as well as other infrastructure projects. And this one, 100% of precincts reporting, this one does pass with 57% of the vote.
To Coles County and a vote to dissolve the Lake Mattoon Public Water District. That's for voters in Cumberland, Coles, and Shelby counties. And the vote is they want it dissolved overwhelmingly, 77% to 23%. That's a final there. On the ballot in Sangamon County, another tax, this one to bring an ambulance service to the town of Sherman. And this one has failed. We're going to show you those numbers in a second. We're going to get to basketball a little bit later, but can we show those numbers there in Sherman? That is a no. Like I said, 61% to 39%.
For all those results and many more, we've got them on our website. Just head over to WCIA.com. And we're going to take a break from election coverage. It's time to talk some hoops.
Just like I said, the Illini men are headed to Omaha and the first round of the NCAA tournament. But tonight we're talking about the Illini women. Coming up, how March Madness is still happening for Shauna Green's team.
March Madness on the basketball court to March Madness in the weather forecast.
It is pretty maddening here.
It is to all of us.
We're just like, hey, it's 60, it's 70. Oh, it's 30 and snowing. That's exactly what's in our forecast here coming up over the next week or so. We'll talk about it as the gusty winds continue tonight. Talk about the cooler temperatures and some rain and, maybe even snow this week coming up.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty.
If you were out and about today, it was kind of deceiving. There were points where you felt like, hey, it feels pretty good out here. We made it to 60 degrees, but then there was a 40-mile-an-hour wind that come roaring across and make it feel quite a bit colder out there. The winds have died down, but guess what? They're going to return again tomorrow. We're up 20 to 25 miles an hour and a cold northwesterly wind, and temperatures are going to be drastically colder tomorrow than what they were today. Clear skies tonight. Temperatures starting to fall off. 47 in Springfield, 47 in Paris. Basically, you can look at this map here, and anywhere you've got 40s, that's about what your high temperature is going to be for the entire day tomorrow. So we won't even get any warmer than the point that we're at here tonight, as temperatures eventually head down to the mid-30s to start the day. Places like Dawson with a high of only 46 degrees. It will be sunny, though, so we'll take that. It's just not going to warm us up as much. And again, we have to factor in that 20 to 25 mile per hour wind, and it's going to be quite chilly for your Wednesday with high around 46 in Arcola. And then look at this. This is going to make you go, Kevin, I thought spring began today. It did. Unfortunately, though, Mother Nature always likes to keep a few tricks up her sleeve, and that's a little bit of snow. And that's going to happen on Thursday morning. So not tomorrow, but Thursday morning. Don't be surprised if you find a few flurries out there, kind of like what we had on Monday. So that is one thing. And then another is the potential for more rain this week. We're talking Friday. And then next week is a much larger system that looks to bring us quite a bit of rainfall. So we'll watch this little system for Thursday to bring some flurries, Friday to bring some rain, and next week to bring a lot of rain. And that's going to be in the Monday and Tuesday timeframe. And when we looked at the models to see how much rain, 1 to 2 inches in some areas, or what some of the models were kind of spitting out here. So a lot of precipitation here. And then on top of that, boy, the temperatures are just all over the place. You go from one day, it's in the 40s. A couple days later, you're back up into the 50s, almost near 60 degrees. And then you fall back down. You can see the up and down motion that we're going to be on with these temperatures over the next week and a half or so. So don't get used to any one type of weather, because it's going to change from pretty much day to day. 32 for tonight, clear skies. Tomorrow's high, 46 degrees, sunny, and obviously a much colder day. And your 7-day forecast, we've got some of those showers for Friday. We've got the definite rain as we head into Monday and Tuesday. We're going to find that, as you can see. So those temperatures, again, don't get used to anything, because so many changes are going to be on the horizon here for us over the next week or so.
I feel like we're doing a little do-si-do. If you could see behind the scenes, it was Courtney's there, and we said, okay, switch. And
election night coverage, baby. We throw out all the stops. You never know.
Hey, but you and I just have to do our silly little bits.
They're all the hard stuff.
And then you guys are out. All right. Thank you for weather and basketball.
Yes, it is all basketball all the time. Big news for One Illini today as the whole team gets ready to take on the big dance.
from the official television station of Illini Sports, this is WCIA 3 Sports and Copper Creek Contractors, your Illini Nation.
This year, Danville is home to the Division II NJCAA National Tournament. And taking the floor tonight is the 7th seed, the Parkland Cobras. Facing the St. Clair County Skippers, will pick things up late in the second half. These two neck and neck. Greg Coleman ties it up at 54 all. Drew Lewis Jr. getting the driving layup, and that'll give Parkland a 4-point cushion in the final minutes. Brylan Phillips with the same move, less than 60 seconds on the clock, and the Cobras squeak out the win to advance. They'll play again Thursday night at Danville in the quarterfinals. The Illini are all packed up for their first round game in Omaha, but Terrence Shannon Jr. has one more accolade to take with him this weekend. Shannon was named third-team AP All-America, receiving 54 points from voters. Zach Edey, Tennessee's Dalton Connect, and UNC's RJ Davis highlight the first team. Shannon is third in the nation in scoring, averaging 23 points per game, and fresh off setting the Big Ten tournament record for points in a single game after dropping 40 against Nebraska. Our coverage from Omaha begins tomorrow night at 6:30. The Your Illini Nation Tournament Special, a 30-minute special previewing this year's NCAA tournament run. Brett Behrens and Andy Olson will be live from Omaha to preview the matchup against Morehead State, along with insight from Derek Piper from the Illini Inquirer. Be sure to tune in as the Illini face the Eagles Thursday afternoon. And the Illinois women's team not done quite yet, receiving a bid to the inaugural Women's Basketball Invitational Tournament. This is the first year the NCAA is sponsoring a women's equivalent to the NIT, and Illinois will be a 4 seed and host the first round game against Missouri State. Head coach Shauna Green said that getting the Champaign community out for this game is huge, especially with the chance to host again in the second round.
This is an opportunity to, again, a tournament where you can win a championship. And if we can have 1 or 2 games at home, that puts us in a really good position going forward. So, hopefully our last game against Nebraska, we had an unbelievable crowd. Hopefully we can have everyone come out and have State Farm Center, really packed and loud and give us that home court advantage.
Thursday's game tips off at 6 on ESPN+, and with a win, Illinois would play again on Sunday at the State Farm Center. And hard to believe in the midst of all this basketball talk, but spring ball for Illinois football got started today. They had 15 practices, culminating with the Orange and Blue game on April 20th. Luke Altmaier is back for year 2 under center after being replaced in those final 3 games last season by John Paddock. Altmaier says he's been watching both his and Paddock's reps this offseason as he tries to take a step up in his second year in the system. We've got more from him on our website, WCIA.com.
All right, Courtney, thank you so much. And we have actually some breaking news tonight. We're going to bring that to you right after this about the Champaign School Board. Don't go anywhere.
We have breaking news unrelated to election night. Another Champaign school board member has resigned.
Mark Thies told us he resigned tonight, effective immediately. His letter to the district says his vision does not align with the future direction and initiatives of the school district. He's been in his position for less than a year, elected last April. Also, he is the second one who has resigned from the board just this month alone. We told you Jamar Brown stepped down at a board meeting. He cited mistrust, missteps, and misinformation as some of the reasons that he left. Both Brown and Thies were elected at the same time. Tomorrow, the board will have a special meeting to address the vacancy. Now, we got to bring it back to primary night. Before we wrap up here, we're going to take a look at some of the bigger races that we've had today.
It is the battle for the 12th congressional district on the Republican side. Former President Donald Trump endorsed Mike Bost late in this race.
And so was that the difference? Bost wins, the incumbent here. He wins the nomination. He does move on to November. He declared himself the winner, and Bailey conceded. Mike Bost 53% to Darren Bailey's 47%, with 91% of the precincts in.
Over in the 107th district, incumbent and farmer Brad Hallbrook has declared victory over Marsha Webb, a former paramedic and township trustee. 87% of the precincts in, and Hallbrook with 68% of the vote.
And we're going to show you the numbers again for the 88th House race, Republican Regan Deering. We've got 67% of precincts in, and right now she's leading by 4,000 votes, 71% to Chuck Erickson's 29%.
And in the state Senate, the 53rd district, another Republican race, this one to replace Tom Bennett, who's retiring. A four-person race here, 64% of the precincts reporting. And Chris Balkema leads by about 3,500 votes there. For the rest of your primary results, just head over to our website, WCIA.com.
And are we going to take one final check at the 7-day?
Yeah, there we go. It's going to be quite a bit colder tomorrow, so prepare as you head out the door in the morning. Temperature is in the 30s and still quite windy as well. We see some flurries by Thursday, rain again Friday, and more rain for next week. And those temperatures bouncing around quite a bit. Still a sign that winter, while officially gone by the astronomical calendar, the equinox, spring equinox is here, but it's not going to feel like it just yet.
Flurries.
Yes.
Not loosening its grip.
Not yet.
All right. Thank you for being here. Of course, if you want more election results throughout the night, if you want to stay up, you can always go to WCIA.com. Those are going to be updated. But of course, also head to the morning show tomorrow, and they will have the latest numbers there as well.